Already the longest-serving member on the Smithfield Town Council, Alla Greca, is seeking an 11th term next month, saying the town needs experienced council members to help navigate Smithfield through expected budget challenges. But is La Greca the right person to do that? We asked the vice president of the council after a meeting earlier this month.
I understand you were having some financial issues with your business.
No, not anymore. My business went bankrupt.
The business was Rome Packing in East Providence. For nearly 40 years, Rome operated as a seafood packaging and processing operation until 2014, when it began to run into serious financial trouble after 2 federal recalls because of concerns over listeria contamination at the plant.
What went wrong?
We had a problem with the FDA. We had a recall. Actually, we had 2 recalls. We processed a lot of crap, and there was listeria in some of the samples. We tested every batch we made. We tested. We retrieved all the product. We actually went through a period of almost 3 weeks. Every shift clean. That's all we did. We didn't process at the request of the Rhode Island Health Department. So
the company never recovered, going into receivership in the spring of 2015. La Greca's company left a long line of creditors seeking millions of dollars they claim Rome owed them. They included this temporary employee service agency in New Bedford, which supplied workers for 7 months, but claims Rome stiffed the company for more than $283,000. La Greca also defaulted on a taxpayer-funded loan issued through the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation that had a balance just shy of $90,000 when Rome closed its doors. The Hummel report has learned that the longtime chairman of the federally funded Small Business Loan Fund Corporation was Raymond Fogarty, first cousin of La Greca's wife. According to meeting minutes, Fogarty voted in February of 2016 to write off the entire balance.
You had a small business loan with the state, right, through the Commerce Corporation?
Yeah.
And $90,000 of that got written off.
Well, I'm not sure if it got written off yet. I was not notified of that.
The Commerce Corporation voted on it. They voted to write it off. It's been several years.
No? I didn't get a copy or any notification that it was written off. I can tell you the loan was initially $325,000 or $300,000. And when I ran into problems, it was down to about $80,000 or $85,000. It could have been $90,000.
Records show the original amount was $250,000, and the loan was issued in 2012.
Have you heard anybody raise the issue that your wife is related to the head of that loan corporation and voted on it?
Well, he wasn't the head, but he was on it, yeah.
You don't see that as a conflict of interest?
Well, first of all...
Not for you, but I mean for him, and I understand...
But you can check the records. He recused himself from any vote. He recused himself for any vote that had to do with me.
Okay.
So,
You're sure of that? You're sure of that? I did check the records.
Yeah. That's what I was told by Ray.
Fogarty died unexpectedly last month at age 61. A second company La Greca owned, 2266 Pawtucket Avenue, LLC, the address where the packing company was located in East Providence, also went bankrupt, eventually leaving TD Bank on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars on the mortgage. Despite the recalls, Rome tried to get back on its feet. According to court filings, the president of BJs Service Company in New Bedford, Jose De Silva, said Rome approached him about providing temporary employees, saying it was having a hard time maintaining a workforce. BJs provided the employees and sent an invoice, with payment due upon arrival. De Silva said he supplied workers faithfully from May through November 2014. But during that time, Rome was regularly behind on paying BJ's invoices. Despite that, he continued to send workers. De Silva said from early November 2014 to mid-January 2015, he received no payment, eventually learning that the plant had stopped processing. The tab when it closed, $283,539. De Silva said that put, quote, tremendous stress on his temp agency. BJs never got paid.
Do you have assets to pay off those liabilities? They seem pretty substantial, $7 million in liabilities.
Well, it's not $7 million in liabilities, but no, I don't have the assets to pay them off.
Well, how much in liabilities is it?
I think it's about $1.7 million with one bank, and the SBA could be about $80,000. And I'm working off my memory, so I don't have the exact figures in front of me.
And so where is that now?
It's still in the receiver's hands.
But, so do you expect to pay those debts off?
I would certainly hope so, but we don't know.
But it's been
in
several.
the hands of the receiver.
But it's been several years.
Yes, it has, and the receiver hasn't settled we haven't gotten the final papers yet.
On Tuesday, Stephen Del Sesto, the attorney appointed to handle Rome's receivership, was in Superior Court to close out the case. Del Sesto had negotiated with two major creditors, but told us it still left about $1 million in outstanding debt. The Rhode Island Commerce Corporation refused to release minutes from a 2016 meeting explaining why the staff recommended writing off Rome's debt. A spokesman said releasing the documents, quote, may jeopardize staff's ability to recover funds. Nearly 3 years later, the state has not recovered any of the remaining $89,800 on the loan, even though Greca put up a personal guarantee to obtain the money.
What message does that send to taxpayers that you're representing?
I think it sends a message that, you know what, I've been on the top and I've been on the bottom, and I understand both sides. So I don't think it sends a bad message at all. I had 100 people working for me, 100 good people, and that's who I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for me because I'll survive in my family.
Right, but
I'll have 3 meals a day and a roof over my head.
The 67-year-old Greca, who owns this 4-bedroom house set on 7 acres, had his property taxes frozen for life when he turned 65. He also enjoys, along with Smithfield's other senior citizens, an $8,000 discount off his valuation. He earns $4,000 a year as a councilman.
I was in business for over 40 years. I employed over 100 people when I had a problem with the FDA, and that subsequently led to my going out of business. Nothing I'm ashamed of. I feel bad for the 100 employees that I had because a lot of them were very dedicated employees.
Do you think the taxpayers would have an issue with that? You're deciding a $70 million budget every year. Do you think they would have an issue with what you had gone through? Do you think they relate that to your ability to serve or not?
You know what? Some of them may. Some of them may. But all I can tell you is my record's here. I've been on the council for a long time. They know who I am. They know how I serve. I've never taken a dime from anybody in the public. I've never had a fundraiser, so they know where my allegiance lies.
Well, you've
taken
taken
lies to the people in the town of Smithfield, not to other people.
Well, I understand that, but you've taken dimes, a lot of dimes, from taxpayer-funded.
Well, you could say that. But
was that not accurate?
Well, if you want to portray it like that, it's accurate.
In Smithfield, Jim Hummel for the Hummel Report.